What is happening, everybody? Well, time to do the recap on the track rental, and I can't tell you how happy I am with how well the car performed. How well? Well, best pass of the day came in at, there we go, 11:39 at 118.59 miles per hour. So, how else did the car do? Well, the car was basically trying to stay in the 1140 range. This was the first hit that kind of gave me an idea how well the car was going to run. 1140 at 118.54. And for the best mile an hour of the day, well, how about that? 1141 at 118.99 miles an hour. Yeah, I just wouldn't have eaten that cheeseburger, right? So, at any rate, so let me give you guys a breakdown of the modifications on the car. And also, I want to point out that the lack of preparation that I did for this track day event is a bit more remarkable. But let me get to the mods first. Tuned by byPeitz Performance, tuned for 93 octane. It's got Nitro Tri-5R drag radials mounted on the stock 20-inch wheels. And that size is 305/35/20. It's got a set of BMR lower trailing arms, and it's got a Hellcat intake with a Hellcat filter. It's also got the brake duct mod, and that's it, aside from me cleaning up the intake runners because they look like hell from the factory. Kind of weird that my own car had probably the worst looking intake runners that I've ever seen, but it's just my luck. But at any rate, that's the only mod list for the car. Now, what I meant earlier by saying that the lack of preparation for the track day event was a bit more remarkable. So, tire pressure was at 27 pounds, and that didn't change all day. Also, I showed up at the track with about a 2-week-old tank of Bucky's 93 octane in the tank, so didn't try to run any fresh gas. Didn't worry about changing the oil because I changed the oil about 1,500 miles ago. And that's it. I mean, there was really nothing to do to the car to get it ready. So, basically, when I showed up to the track as the host of the event, you might imagine I'm going from car to car to car, looking at data logs, looking at my own data logs, making sure everything's cool, especially with density altitudes that are hovering between minus 1,700 and somewhere around minus 700-ish for the day. That was the spread. And, just making sure everything was up to snuff with a couple of cars that I was basically mother henning throughout the course of the day. Now, that being said, the way that it worked out was like this. Make a pass, go hang out with some friends, have a good time, jump in the car, make another pass just whenever we wanted to. And that was the best part of the day. Being able to hang out, chat with folks, basically just have fun with your friends at the drag strip. So getting more into it though, what I wanted to do, one of the goals that I had for the car was that I wanted to try to run an 1140 anything in those conditions, basically the way that I drive my car around every single day. I wasn't going to take the interior out or, put a drag pack on the car. Not for this event. What I wanted to do is try to get a baseline for the absolute best that car could possibly do in basically full street trim. That was the idea. And, well, mission accomplished. And in the process, was able to run an 1139. And that, to me, is incredibly impressive for this car. You got to keep in mind, number one, it's an SRT, and everybody was saying, oh, the SRT is too heavy, Harman Kardon system this, and 20 inch by 9.5-inch wheels that, adjustable suspension, all that adds weight. And I got to thinking about that a little bit. I thought, you know what, if I can put this thing somewhere deep in the 1140s, it would certainly shut a whole lot of people up. But, when this big girl decided to rip off an 1139, not only did it shut a lot of people up, but it put a lot of people on notice. The tune by byPeitz Performance, untouched. It's the same tune that I drive the car around with every single time I drive the car, and I don't have any concerns with fuel quality or anything like that. As a matter of fact, my tune is a little bit on the conservative side. So yeah, there's that to consider. There's actually quite a bit more in that tune should I decide to go with race gas, or maybe make the switch to E85 at some point. In fact, I would go so far as to say that I'm leaving quite a bit on the table with the way that that tune sits right now. But that being said, didn't need any more than she already had. And by looking at the time slips, 118.99 miles per hour. Yeah, just really, why not 119? Just round it up. Anyway, making plenty of power to drag that much weight down the track at that kind of clip is definitely something to be impressed by. Now, another thing that I was looking at, and this is kind of the elephant in the room, right? I mean, the new 2018 Mustang is out there running these, 1120s on a tune and E85 and stripped down and all this other stuff. And I thought, that doesn't really compute with me so much. I mean, I understand if the goal is to go record hunting, but for me, the record that I wanted to set was full interior on a stock wheel on pump gas. And like I say, I mean, I was running on Bucky's 93 at just a little over half a tank. So wasn't like I was trying to run her light either. And, just basically show up to the track and make some passes without any extra work or headaches or whatever involved with trying to get the car ready. And God, I gotta say that the 15 minutes that it took me to go to the car wash and spray off some dead bugs from the windshield and, get a little brake dust off the wheels, that really was my track prep. So, and in doing so, I haven't seen any other 392 cars with such few mods running ET or a mile an hour near that. Now, yeah, there could be some that are close, but yeah, you'd have to have some really good conditions, a solid tune, and, well, some pretty decent luck to get a time that good. So, in this case, I got the trifecta on that one, and the car did turn the number, and it was consistent. And as a matter of fact, as the DA rose throughout the day, the car basically started running, super low, 1150s to mid 1150s, basically bettering the absolute best that that car has ever run. I never went slower than that, provided that I actually did hook up. There were a couple of passes where I got a little greedy on the launch. Track prep was really good, and Royal Purple Raceway took damn good care of us in that respect. So, yeah, as the day progressed, the prep got a little bit sketchy, though, which is understandable. And, well, to be honest, I did get greedy, tried to launch it a little too hard and spun it a couple of times. But, yeah, that's racing, right? Once I got that out of my system, though, car performed like clockwork. I'm so used to taking this thing down the drag strip that I've pretty much got it figured out. Definitely not rocket surgery, but the fact of the matter is that, like I said, the car never went slower than its previous best pass of an 1158, I think with a 7. The very first hit out of the gate went 1158 with a 2, and that was on an extremely soft launch. So, of course, the density altitude helped out a ton, but there's a lot of folks right now, and this is kind of more to the point too, there's a lot of folks out right now, and especially this time of year where these, records get broken and, micro records get shattered and all that other kind of good stuff. And this is just the game that we're playing. I mean, of course, you're going to post up that number. Now, would I ever say that my car is an 1130 car? No, that'd be irresponsible and stupid on my part. I'd be bullshitting myself even more than bullshitting the people that I would be telling. The car is a pretty consistent 1150, 1160 car in most conditions. And to be honest, I'm very happy with that. But in excellent conditions, with an experienced driver and a solid tune on a sticky tire on a well-prepped track, these cars will absolutely dig deep into that 11-second time zone. So basically, that's what I wanted to prove. A car that is set up, I mean, the same way that I drive the thing, you know, anytime I want to drive it, if I run it into the office or, you know, just kicking around in it. Not a special tune, and that's another thing, by the way. I didn't touch the tune the entire time I was there. In fact, the only thing that I did concerning my tune was data log my very first pass. Took a look at the data log. Everything looked great. Closed the laptop and just had a freaking blast for the rest of the day. So, yeah, didn't have to fudge the tune to get these numbers. Didn't have to run any race gas or E85. Running the stock intake manifold, albeit cleaned up a little bit, but not ported, and the stock throttle body as well. Didn't need anything out of the ordinary to get the car to run these times, and if you've got one, neither will you. All you need is a really good density altitude and a little bit of practice behind the wheel, and you'll be right there with me. So, at any rate, I hope that brings you guys up to speed a little bit. This video is really more talking about me and how the car performed and, you know, just the minimal amount of modifications that the car does have. It will absolutely turn the same numbers that a lot of folks are bragging about right now. And, you know, really this is a video for, you know, some of the folks that might be, you know, in higher altitudes where they don't get a chance to experience density altitudes like we were able to for the track day, which, by the way, was a Chamber of Commerce day. Not a cloud in the sky. DAs like that with a great prep, you couldn't ask for more. But anyway, you know, if you've got one of these cars, it will absolutely perform like this, you know, in a great DA. So keep that in the back of your mind. And aside from that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up on this. Post up any comments or questions that you may have. Y'all have a great one. Adios.